Hey everybody, welcome to my tiny studio. I'm Nell. This is a special crochet and talk or crochet and chat because we're going to talk about love. I keep thinking love and hip hop. No, we're going to be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Love and Marriage Huntsville comes on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to be working on a slipper, and I really want to call this a booty. So I'm going to be working on a pair of booties, and I'm kind of playing with the design because I made a pair of booties for my husband and for my grandmother, but I'm playing with the design a little bit because I need to make the booty a little higher, which is probably going to turn it into a sock. So I'm playing with the design, and I will let you see the finished product of it when it is completed. Or, of course, finished product does mean completion, right? I tell you, sometimes I just don't know about myself. But I'm going to do that, and when I tweak it really well, I'm going to look for testers on Ravelry. So I'll put my Ravelry site up in the description box so that you'll get a chance to check it out and keep up with me on Ravelry and over on TikTok and Instagram. But that's neither here nor there. All of those things will be in the description box. Make sure that you like and that you subscribe. And I know you need to watch the full video before you like, but sometimes by the time the video is over or done, you forget to like, and there's that. So just go ahead and like now, because I guarantee you, if you're tuning in because you love the show Love and Marriage Huntsville, then you know that you're going to enjoy this video, right? I hope so. So go and grab your whips and I'll wait for you for a second while you grab it. And I'm going to count these stitches because I need 11 stitches in this circle. So let me count it while you go and get your work. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9. 10. And 11. Okay, so I have my stitches here, and I need to get a stitch marker, because with these slippers and with this design, I need my stitch marker, because the stitch marker is essential to my roll count. So I need the stitch marker, so I have it in place. All right, so do you have your work? Are you ready to chat about Love and Marriage Huntsville? I'm thinking Love and Marriage DC is coming on, isn't it, in April or next month or May? I can't remember. But it's coming up. Monique Samuels from Real Housewives of Potomac is supposed to be on the show. So I'm excited about that. Yay! Because I like Monique. All right? Monique was my girl on Potomac. So it's going to be exciting to see her in her own show. Isn't that great? On. So, what happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville? Child, I'm going to tell you one thing. Those producers over there, they must think we're dumb. Last week, the show ended on Maurice and Marceau having a conversation at dinner. And the conversation was about Marceau posting that darn picture of all of them hanging out with Martell. Well, all of them. Micah, the Scott brothers, which is Micah, Maurice, and Marceau. And they were all hanging out with Martell on a boys' trip to Atlanta. What made this picture so controversial is the fact that, number one, Maurice said he was not there. And number two, the person behind the camera who took the picture was Martell's girlfriend, the person that he was having an affair with for 5 years, and the mother of one of his children. And which is the reason why they were at that having the dinner, is because of the picture that Marceau posted. Now, the producers must think that we're dumb, because I distinctly recall that we were in the middle of a conversation between Maurice and Marceau, as Maurice began to ask his brother, why would you do that? Why did you post that picture? Maurice also said, I know things about you. I know a lot of things about you that I haven't said anything about. And then the episode ended. So I'm thinking that when we come back to this episode, the new episode, that we're going to take up where we left off at. But that's not what happened. What happened is we pick up at who? Martell. We're checking out Martell, and there's Martell on having a photo shoot. I guess it's supposed to be a Valentine's Day photo shoot. And Martell proceeds to call Destiny to ask her to bring over some baby oil for his photo shoot. Now, even he knew when he called Destiny on the phone that this was messy, and messy as F. Okay? And that it looked bad, but he did it anyway. And Destiny did bring over the baby oil. Now see, here's the thing. I understand that Martell and Destiny go way back. I understand that. But let me tell you something else. I'm not bringing nobody's husband some baby oil. Okay? I'm not doing that. That would not have been me. Okay? I don't care if my friends and her husband, if they were separated and going through a divorce. I'm not bringing him any baby oil. That's what his assistant is for. And he knew that was messy. That's why he did it. And Destiny, why you brought that baby oil to that photo shoot, I don't know why you did that, but you did. I guess it was for the camera. It was work. Martell is one of the producers. So, you know, you got to earn your money, earn your check, because you're a single mom and you're trying to do what you got to do to put food on the table. But that right there was ridiculous. So what we get out of what we received out of this scene between Martell and Destiny when she arrives at the photo shoot with the baby oil, what we began to understand, or what we learned, is what Martell, he gives us a good glimpse inside of how Melody's mind works when it comes to friendship. And of course he would know. He's been with her for how many years? 13 years. So of course he's been married to her for 13 years, but I think they were together for like really 15 years. But he understands how Melody's mind works. And as Destiny began to tell him about the issues she's been having with Melody, he lets her know that when it comes to friendship and that type of relationship to Melody, she wants total integrity and loyalty from her friends. And sometimes that looks like being a yes person to her. And Martell says that is the type of friend that she appreciates. If you're constantly in agreement with her and you're on the same page with her, then you're cool. When you jump off that page and you go against something that she believes in, then she dismisses you as a friend. How many times have you been in a friendship where that has happened? Where you are the Robin to somebody's Batman. And when you decide to step out of that Robin role, that so-called supportive yes man role, and you come into your own, or you have an opinion that's different than your Batman's, there's an issue. There's a situation, there's a friction, a tension develops in a relationship. And that's what happened between Melody and Destiny, according to Martell. And of course, we the viewer can see that as well. We the viewer know that Martell is right on this one, because that's exactly what is happening, and we can see it too. And as who was that speaking last week? As I can't remember, but someone else said the same thing about Melody's friendships and relationships, that they usually bite the dust, and the reason why they bite the dust is because something goes awry in Melody's mind, and she dismisses the relationship or dismisses the friendship. So we see that happening. We saw that happen with Letitia, and now it's happening with Destiny. So Kimmy, you better watch out, girl. Speaking of Kimmy, we see Kimmy in two different scenes in this particular episode. The first is with Maurice and her son. And her son, I cannot think of that child's name to save my life. Anyhow, her son, they visit her son, and her son asks her, lets Maurice and his mom know that, he saw the picture on Instagram like the rest of us. And he said, I just want to know if you guys are okay. I thought that was cute because, we all saw the reunion, and at the reunion, Maurice said he wasn't there. Okay, but as we know, Maurice was there. So, Maurice, did you sleep with the linebacker? Which was the question that was posed last week, and Maurice denied it. But the real question was, Maurice, why did you lie? Why did you lie? So now, of course, the question also is, is Maurice a cheater? And that's kind of what Kimmy's son was alluding to. Because he's like, I see all the comments, and he said, unfortunately, I read the comments, and this is what the comments said. And it seems to me other outside entities know more about my family than I do. So what can you do? And that's one thing about being on reality TV that has got to be a drag. It's the fact that everyone can comment on your life, even people who know of you, who've had, even just minor association with you. They can come onto the scene and offer their 2 cents about W, X, Y, and Z. So I feel bad for the kid, but that is how it goes on reality TV. Another thing that that made me interested in this particular scene with Kimmy and Maurice and her son is the fact that I understand the young man's concern for his mother, because yes, he has a great relationship with Maurice, but nobody wants to see their mother hurt. And this particular post and the conversation and commentary that came up behind it, and that's why sometimes when I do a review or commentary on things that are happening in the world, especially on reality television, that's why I occasionally have a pang of consciousness about it, because many of these people have children. They have moms. They have dads, siblings that watch these television shows, and they have to endure the fallout that happens behind it, the fallout that is basically manufactured for ratings. Because let's all be honest, we know Marceau posted that picture to be a storyline. That picture is basically a storyline, and it's a storyline that's going to be giving for at least the next 5 or 6 episodes, right? Yes. How can it not be? Kimmy is once again questioned about her situation with as far as that picture is concerned at Melody's pajama jam. And at Melody's pajama jam, there's a new cast member, and her name is Stormy, and she's an entrepreneur. Also at the Jammy Jam is, I cannot think of her name now, but it's Letitia's cousin. She's at the pajama jam, and that Tiffany girl. Ugh. Tiffany is there. But anyhow, Letitia's cousin and Stormy, they asked Kimmy basically the same question Kimmy's son asked her. You know, are you okay? Are you okay? And how are you dealing with this? Because what they are saying and what we the viewer is saying is that, hey, your man lied. Your man lied on national TV and said it wasn't him. But it was him. So how you feel about that, girl? Especially the fact that, you know, the woman who took the picture, which was Martell's mistress, said that your man was, you know, basically caught out here. So how you feel about all of this information? And once again, Kimmy, she goes into this thing about how she believes her husband, and she doesn't think that Marceau posted that picture to be messy, and she trusts her husband, she trusts Marceau, and all these things that of course we as wives and sister-in-laws are supposed to say. Okay, that is what we are supposed to say in public. We're not supposed to sit back and be like, I don't believe that man. I know he lying, but I had to deal with him, okay? And after I dealt with him, you know, we saw eye to eye. We were on the same page after I talked to him. Because, you know, no, you don't do that in public. I know a lot of wives who are worth their weight in salt will say to you that, no, I don't diss my husband in public, because that's not a cool thing. You don't do that. And if anyone thought that Kimmy was going to sit back and diss Maurice in public, they had another thing coming, because she wasn't going to do that. But we all knew Kimmy wasn't going to do it, but it sure looked uncomfortable for her to have to answer these questions in such a diplomatic way, when we all know that the real questions came up off camera in the privacy of their own home. And we also know that while Kimmy was trying to be diplomatic in answering questions about Marceau, her brother-in-law, okay, we all know that Kimmy being there at the pajama jam was a little problematic, especially being that she and Letitia had been having problems stemming from mail in the first place. All right. So Kimmy, and if I was Kimmy, I would have declined that invitation. Okay, but I understand Kimmy accepted the invitation, and the reason why she accepted was because it was a cast, a cast party, and it was an event that one of the producers of the show was putting together. Okay, one of her employers So just like Destiny had to arrive on set with some baby oil, okay, Kimmy had to arrive prepared to put on those jammies for the pajama party. Okay, but I believe that this is going to come back and bite her later. And why was Letitia's cousin at the party? Okay, I didn't understand that either. I'm quite sure she knew that Melody and Letitia were on the outs, and if not, that's her duty as a cousin to call Letitia and ask her, hey, how do you feel? Is it okay if I attend this event that your girl Melody is having? The same person that said that you are her enemy. Well, I'm sure she didn't know that part, but Letitia's cousin still should have came out and asked her first before attending. It's kind of like that Melissa and Teresa situation. Even though Melissa keeps saying that she had discussed with Teresa about joining the cast of Real Housewives of New Jersey, and Teresa keeps saying, no, I did not know that you were joining the cast of Real Housewives of New Jersey. At this point, I don't know who I believe, but wait. I'm going to clean that up. There's a part of me that believes someone did tell Teresa that they were interviewing her sister-in-law and brother for the show. I do believe that Andy told Teresa that. Now, did Melissa and Joe tell Teresa that? Probably not, but I'm sure Andy did. I just don't think that is something that they would not tell Teresa. But this pajama jam, Kimmy is in the hot seat. And when Kimmy squirms out of the hot seat, she's put into another position by Tiffany. Tiffany wants to have a conversation with her about what went on at the reunion. And at the reunion, Kimmy said, well, yeah, there's a lot of things we know about Tiffany, but Tiffany has a problem with transparency. So we find out at the reunion that Tiffany was fired from the Chamber of Commerce of Huntsville. But Tiffany says that wasn't true, that she quit the Chamber of Commerce to start her own business. Okay? And Tiffany also goes on to tell us that happened 5 years ago. So, like Kimmy and Stormy said, well, the way you were presented to the show by Melody, you were presented as a person, as Tiffany, who works at the Chamber of Commerce. And is that not true? Yes, that's how we were introduced to Tiffany. But that just goes to show you that on these reality TV shows, that usually the way, and you know what, come to think of it, when these people on the reality TV shows, when they are introducing so-called friends, those people really don't be their friends. The producer says, hey, we want you to say this is your friend and introduce them to the show, introduce them to viewers as your friend. Because when you say, well, this person is my friend, then that gives the established person on the show, that gives them, that gives the established person on the show, in my opinion, more avenues for new storylines, and then it gives some type of credence or credit to the new person that's coming on, because you're going to say, oh, well, this is so-and-so's friend, so she must be cool. But we all saw how that worked out on the Real Housewives of Atlanta when Portia supposedly brought her friend Fallon to the show. And then when Portia ran off with Fallon's husband months later, then it was, oh, she's really not my friend. That's not my friend. That was just someone the producers told me to say was my friend, but that's really not my friend. Oh God. How crazy. So we find out that Tiffany hadn't worked for the Chamber of Commerce in 5 years. She wasn't fired. She quit. She quit, and she still was able to retain her benefits and all the other things that happens when you leave. So had she been fired, she wouldn't have received those things. So I thought that was interesting. And of course, Melody was sitting there eating and looking crazy while she was while Tiffany was letting us know that, what her employment situation was, because Melody knows. She knows that was all set up. But in the meantime, Tiffany is like, I just want to make sure things are cool between us, Kimmy. And Kimmy's like, yeah, we're cool. We're good. It's no big deal. It's no problem. Stormy comes over and say, hey, what were you guys talking about? And so, of course, Kimmy has to rehash what led to the conversation between she and Tiffany. And so Tiffany proceeds to say, well, you know what? This situation, it doesn't make any sense because, it's like asking me what I did when I was 12 years old. So, of course, Kimmy was like, oh, you was trying to get smart, weren't you? You was being smart, weren't you? That's what Kimmy said. And then the other girl said, Stormy said, Stormy broke the fourth wall and looked into the camera and was like, really? It was like, did you have to say that? And like Stormy said, come on, Tiffany, that's why I'm messing with her anyway, because that's that bullshit over there. What she just did, that's why I don't want to mess with her. That's why I want to hang with her. And that's what Stormy was telling Melody at her place, at her manufacturing company, because Stormy owns some type of a skincare line. Well, has a skincare line, and Melody came over to the manufacturing to her place of manufacturing, her warehouse, to check it out. And so that was one of the things that Stormy was talking about. She was like, hey, I don't know if I want to get to know Tiffany, because Tiffany, from what I have seen, she can talk slick on you. She likes to throw a rock and then hide her hands. And I don't think I want to be involved with someone like that. So when Tiffany came out with that slick comment, Stormy was like, I'm out of here. So that is what happened at Melody's Pajama Jam, of which I really still believe that Kimmy should have just said, I can't come. I can't make it. Because, we spent almost 3 seasons, 2 whole seasons on the fact that, Letitia and her mom Wanda felt like Kimmy was disloyal. And now here we go again. Do we really want to see Kimmy and Wanda go at it again? I don't. It's funny, but I don't want to see that again. But, we all have to make choices, and Kimmy had to make a choice, and that was her employer inviting her to, that was her employer, requesting her presence at the Pajama Jam. So she had to be there, I guess. And I think I'm missing out on some scenes. Did I talk about the scene where Wanda comes to the Scott office? And what's the name of their company? Schott, something like that. And she comes to the office and she's talking to, Marceau about that picture. about that posting. Because see, that posting got underneath everyone's skin. Because what were you trying to do? All right, you were trying to prove that your brother is a liar. Okay, we got that part. But the other half of that situation is the fact that you knew this man, your friend, was having an affair, and you go out of town with them. You know, that just shows that you have a really bad moral compass. So when the rumors come out and they swirl around you that you're cheating on my daughter, why should I not believe them? Because you already have a shaky moral compass. So, like Wanda said, I ask you a question, you dodge it, you deflect, you dance around the truth. And then she asked, well, hey, did you and Martell ever have an apartment together? Now, I thought that question was fascinating because where does that come from? I don't know. I don't really recall hearing that rumor, but Wanda brought it up. She was like, hey, did you guys have an apartment together? So you know, if Wanda asked the question, somebody brought it up. And it probably happened the night Marcel posted that picture. Because just like Kimmy's son said, he said he learned a lot of things about his family in the comment section. So, Wanda asks, did you and Martell have an apartment together? And you know how that goes, right? An apartment together, why? So you could bring women over there and cheat on your wives. So of course, Marceau, he danced around the truth. He said whatever. But, you know, and then he's going to break out with the, well, if you don't know me by now, you'll never know me. That Marceau, I really like him. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why do I like him? And I guess I like him because he is consistent to his character. He doesn't deviate from who he is. He has always been this same person from season 1 to season 4. The same person. The same person. But it is, to me, it's Letitia who I want to admire, but I also feel a little sorry for. And I admire her for having her husband's back. But what I feel sorry for her about is the fact that she has to deal with all of these rumors that are swirling about her husband. Okay? And it is true. Birds of a feather do flock together. That is nature shows us that. So if your husband was okay with going on a boys trip with his man, with his friend, and his friend's woman or mistress, you have to think about what else your husband will feel comfortable in doing and making excuses for that you don't know about. Because Letitia said during the reunion that she did not know Martell was bringing, they went on that boys trip and the mistress was there. She said she didn't know. So that's another question that we didn't get, or that was not brought up on camera. Letitia asking her husband, how is it that you went on this boys trip with your main man's mistress? Don't you know how that looks? Why would you do that? You're out here, this picture shows that you're basically partying and having a good time with this woman. But what you're doing, the person that you're throwing under the bus is your brother. But what this picture is really all about, it's about your disloyalty to me. Your disloyalty to Melody. Your disloyalty to Kimmy. Your disloyalty to Micah's sister. Micah, to your sister-in-law. Micah's wife. That's what's really happening. And that's the question. That's the question that we're not getting the answer to. We're not really getting the answer to. And I think that Carlos King, he needs to explore that. And if possible, if he is going to be the host of the next reunion, I really hope he asks that question, because those are the two questions that we need answers to. We need to know, Maurice, why did you lie? And number two, and maybe both of you can answer this question, Maurice and Marceau, why would you go on a boys' trip with your best friend's mistress? And then you still refused to say anything to Melody about this subject. Even when Melody came to you, Marceau, when she came to you to talk to you, to say that she was thinking, that she thought and felt that her husband was still having an affair with this woman, even though he told her that he had ended it, and you knew that to not be true, you kept it to yourself. See, it just shows that your moral compass is off. And that's why I think, and this is my opinion, that's why I think that Marceau has not been faithful to Letitia in some way. And it's okay. It's okay that Letitia wants to stand by her man in this public manner. Because she's right. It's really nobody's business what goes on. But in presenting yourself to the public, Letitia, you're going to have to stand up for all of us wives and let Marceau know that this situation with the Atlanta trip, that mess was wrong. That mess was wrong as two left shoes. Kimmy want to say, well, there are different rules for when a person is dating as opposed to the rules of when a person is married. Which I don't believe, because commitment is commitment is commitment. Your man Kimmy and your man Letitia, you guys were wrong. And that needs to be addressed on the show. That needs to be addressed. But that is what happened. The gist of what happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I really enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I was kind of upset that we didn't pick off where episode 1 left off. Episode 1 had the cliffhanger going on. Episode 2, it was almost as if the dinner did not happen. Okay, we cut right on over to Martell at a photo shoot, taking Valentine's Day pictures, which I think is a good idea for him to come up with a calendar, because there are a lot of women out here who think that he is absolutely the bee's knees. So if he can profit off of that, why not? Why not make that money? You know what I'm saying? Just like Melody is making, doing her thing as a singer. Why not make that money as a male pinup, Martell? You go ahead and do that. You do it. You worked hard for it. You're working out for that body over there with Lewis. You go ahead and make you a few $1,000s on those calendars. Go ahead and do that. Why not? I would. I am Nell, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Crochet and Chat. As a matter of fact, I didn't do any crochet. I only made the ring. I got so into this review. But what would I say about the episode? It was pretty good. It was kind of like a letdown from episode 1, but I'm hoping that episode 3 we're going to pick back up, because episode 2 was kind of a downer. And the reason why I say it was a downer, it's because when we left off on episode 1, we were expecting to continue the dinner and take off from there. But instead, we get to, we're at Martell at his photo shoot, which I could care less about. And to be honest, I don't really think anybody else was cool with that. And I'm not saying that women are not cool with Martell's photo shoot, because he has a nice body. He really does. But what I'm saying is that that whole scene with Martell, just focus on that, and we didn't see Martell anymore. We only saw Martell at the photo shoot, and that was it. We didn't see anything else. And who else we didn't see? We didn't see Lewis, and yeah, that was it. We didn't see Lewis, and we only saw Martell for the opening scene. That was it. And I wonder if Micah and his wife, Marceau and Maurice's brother, if he's going to show up again. That would be nice. That would be cool to see them, because I really liked his wife. His wife was cool. What was her name? I can't remember. But that would be nice to have them on the show. But we'll see what happens. But that is my rundown or review of this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, which comes on Saturdays at 8 o'clock on OWN channel. And thank you so much for hanging out with me in my tiny studio. As I said, and the reason why I got so wrapped up in what I'm doing, what I was saying, that I didn't, I didn't get any crocheting done. And here's the thing, when I'm working on slippers, especially when I'm starting out, you have to be mindful of putting in your stitch marker, because I want to be, my rows depend on me making sure that I have my stitch marker in place. But I hope that you were able to get some work done today. I hope that you were able to get some work done and do whatever it is that you needed to do with your whips. I have some granny Afghans that I went to Michael's yesterday, and they had a sale on this impeccable yarn, and I was able to pick up about 6 skeins of impeccable yarn, plus some red heart soft yarn that I had never seen before. So I picked that up as well, and then I ordered some more yarn online. Yesterday was my first time being inside of Michael's. I've ordered from Michael's, but it was my first time being inside since the panorama occurred. Michael's was one of my favorite stores, and I could fall up in Michael's at 10 o'clock in the morning, and and still come back later on in the afternoon. I just love Michael's. And I went into Michael's because I was hoping to find some things I needed for my tiny studio, because I am also a jewelry designer, and there's some things that I needed. Which I needed another chasing hammer, and I needed another mallet, and I needed a block, and I needed some copper. It was a few things that I needed that, unfortunately Michaels did not have, which was surprising. But, I'm going to have to order anyway. And what they did have, well, they did have the chasing hammer, but the price that Michaels was asking for that hammer, I wasn't willing to pay because I have that same hammer in my cart on Amazon. So for $13 less. And I just felt like I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do that. You can just forget it. I'm not paying that much. And I guess that is the reason why Amazon is, who Amazon is. What's that guy's name? Jeff Bezos? The founder of Amazon? I'm guessing that's why he's a billionaire many times over. Because he is able to have things available that you can order online at a certain price point. Because when you're dealing with going into a brick and mortar store, you have to take into account the prices. You have to really take into account that they have bills to pay. They got to pay the lights, they got to pay the water bill, they got to pay their employees, they got to pay the rent on the building. It's so many things that come into play when you have a store, and you have to price your items accordingly so that you can be able to come out with some type of profit at the end of the year. And that's how it is. And I try to remember that, especially as a businesswoman myself. I try to take into account those things when I go into a store and I realize that the prices are just too much for me, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm not spending that. But I philosophically understand why that is so. But like I said, I'll be going on Amazon to pick up those items that I need. And I'm just going to do that and call it a day. Okay, so I finally got started on this slipper. And we're coming up on 47 minutes after the hour. And I'm going to close out my studio time. And my husband just came in. He's been in and out today on this easy breezy Sunday, and I want him to enjoy the tiny studio as well. So I hope that you were able to get some things accomplished today. I hope you enjoyed my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And look, in just that tiny period of time, I have the toe done of this slipper. So the next time we chat, I probably would have finished both slippers, and and finished the design or the concept of how I want this sock to look. And so I'll give you a glimpse of it the next time we sit down and chat. And I hope you enjoyed crochet and chat today, and thank you for hanging out with me inside my tiny studio. This has been Simply Nails Tiny Studio. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.